Glowing, fire, lava, lightsabers. Let's do this. So this is just a little tutorial for beginners, mostly. If you're into much more of a hardcore stuff, check out this video about painting in Photoshop in 32-bit mode. It has some really cool advanced tricks connected to this whole glowing thing. But first, let's actually paint a lightsaber. So I have this dude right here, and I think he has some force in him. This is just what happens sometimes when I test a new painting program. Completely random picture, I have no idea what's going on. So let's add a lightsaber into his hand. Or two. So at first, let's start with just adding a handle, just like that, and another one over here. Now, the basic way to paint anything is to just do that in one layer, right? We could pretty much think on how we could, let's say, paint a blue lightsaber. We would start with a bright base, then we would move a bit closer to really bright cyan in the middle, and much closer to cyan, and then we would move much closer to white in the center to have something like this. And this would look okay. But as you can see, on a brighter background, it looks really lame with a really dull, dark contour. So let's do it much better with a bunch of layers. We create one new layer. We make it an add mode layer. I think any program has that. So check out linear dodge add. Now we're gonna be using an almost completely saturated, but not completely saturated. That's important. Blue, or whatever color you want. So actual blue like that. And I'm gonna make it like middle brightness. And let's choose a really soft brush like this. Let's actually draw with a perfect line. So there we go. We're done. Not really. Let's copy this layer. Duplicate. Let's merge it down. Now this looks like computer graphics from an 80s movie. Sometimes you see that dark contour around some glowing stuff. Good thing those times are over. So let's switch back to add mode and copy this layer again. So duplicate and merge it down. You can actually not merge every time and just copy it multiple times and then merge all of it together. Alright, back to add mode and copy it again. Pretty bright, but we want the middle color to be much brighter, actually white, right? So let's merge it down again, switch to linear dodge again, and duplicate again. And just keep doing it until you see a good color. Oh, there we go, that looks much closer to a lightsaber. Let's merge it down and do it one more time. Oh yes. Now at this point, I want to blur this top layer, because right now it's a bit too solid. In a way, maybe this will improve the gradient, so still having this second layer on top. Oh, there we go, this is looking pretty cool. So yeah, just play with the radius and see what you like. I like this. Cool. Merge down. There we have ourselves a lightsaber. Now this is the basic technique that you can apply to fire, lava, lightsabers, lightnings, magic, whatever, even dark magic. But here's the thing, this is just the glowing object. Now let's add an actual bloom, the glow that we can see optically in our eye. Like it's not an actual lit up fog or something, but just the glow just because something is really bright. It's a different glow. It's not three-dimensional, it's just in our eyes. So we add another layer, an empty layer, and make it a screen mode layer. And I'll make the radius much bigger, and the color should be that same blue. Oh yes, let's actually do that by hand. Really soft, big radius stroke at first, then I make the radius smaller, and there we go, it gets really cool effect. Generally, when you're adding a glow like this, it's really important to not just add a tiny sharp glow around the object like this, but also on top of it, add a very soft, very transparent extra glow. That actually turns it into an actual realistically looking looking glow. Actually, it should be a bit better than that, like tiny glow like this, and bigger one should like merge into the smaller one nicely. So this really looks like a glow. Insert any kind of really bright object in the middle of this and it will look very natural and appropriate. So yeah, there we go. Now on top of that, let's actually add some texture of a smoke. We'll create another add layer right here next to the lightsaber, and we'll do just a couple of spots like that with some kind of fog texture. So this way you can make this really photorealistic, impressive effect, like the lightsaber is actually lighting up the fog around it. Really cool looking. Oh, and in the end, you can either merge all of these layers together with the background, if you want to get rid of a lot of layers, or you can merge separately all the add layers and all the screen layers. But don't merge screen layer and add layer together. The result won't be correct. You need those two different layers to work differently. Add mode creates a much stronger, much more aggressive glow that really works well for a thing like a lightsaber or a fire or lava, where there's a really strong saturated gradient. And screen is much better to visualize more of a flat look, just the bloom, just the glow in your eyes or something like that. So those are a bit different. You kind of can work with add mode for glow as well, but it's not gonna be working that well. For instance, right now if in add mode, like it makes it look much more like this face is glowing a little bit with blue for some reason. Not really like it's an optical effect of glow, contrary to this. If I would do the same thing here, you see it's much more flat, like it's has some more of a foggy quality to it. So yeah, this is the basic technique. Now let's draw around a little bit, and this will be the end of this. Some kind of lava is gonna be going on right here, only in add mode. Another interesting thing about lava is that it's actually a really hot stone. So when it cools down, usually on its edges, it becomes really dark, like almost black pretty much. So that's a cool thing to explore as well, because what's interesting in this case is you can see I'm painting with a really dark and saturated orange, but we're getting like a light yellow effect. And this is an interesting thing to mention. If you want to create a picture that really relies on a cool effect of the glow, make sure that the picture itself has dark enough places for that glow, because glow looks better on a darker background. So if I just go to the background layer and just make everything darker, you see the color of the glow becomes much more saturated. And if we'll keep going, like I'll add another layer in add mode. With this kind of stuff, it's really a good idea to think through where the lava gets hotter, where it gets cooler, so the brightness will vary and you'll get some nice and really rich looking textures when you apply these kind of different strokes and different layers in add mode. So yeah, now for really bright spots somewhere. Every next layer needs less and less surface covered, because it doesn't really make sense to paint an even brighter layer where there wasn't the previous layer. So the aisle of the brightness gets smaller and smaller. Like right now, I only add even brighter color only inside the ones that are already the brightest. Like this way, you have like first layer, it's a dim one, then inside of it with a smaller surface, a brighter one, and inside of it even the brighter ones. It gets brighter but in a smaller surface, because you need to have a darker edges as well to have the rich gradient. Some stuff maybe in here as well, actually. Now let's merge that down into one add mode layer. Now I think it's a good time to apply that darker background theory to it, so I'll just make some dark strokes behind it. Oh yeah, you can see how it's much better looking. So if generally the picture would be darker, this effect would have much cooler look. Same with the lightsaber, by the way. Much cooler blue contour of this thing. So yeah, lava as a bright object should also have some steam going on, or smoke really, lit up with its own color, something like this. And also what's really cool, we can add a bit of extra smoke overlapping this area, some kind of stone, and then erase it with a sharp edge like this, and it will look like it's actually there now, behind this rock right here. Maybe do the same thing in here. Oh yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, we can go further and further, adding glows and blurring stuff a little bit and adding smoke lit up with that, all in add mode or in screen mode for actual glow. And the fire is the same thing as the lava, but with a different shape and different spread. Like in here, there would be some fire. Actually, it's a good idea to go much closer to red, but make sure not to go completely red. Never go like complete colors, complete red, complete green, complete blue. Those colors usually are really hard to distort into a rich color. When the color is somewhere in between, like warm green, when you add layers on top more and more, it will become like yellow and then white. That's a really rich and cool effect, and if it would be perfectly green, it would just stay green until it becomes white. And if you will make 100% saturation, it doesn't matter how much layers you put on top, you will never reach white. That's the thing. Only when you introduce some desaturation, so you bring the color a bit closer to gray. Gray is the middle between all the colors, so when you add some gray to the color, that means you add all the other colors to this green, for instance. And so when you add a lot of this slightly gray green on top again and again in the add mode, you also add all the other colors, and that gives you the chance to reach actual white color in the end. There, that's important. So yeah, not completely saturated, not completely bright as well. It's good to start dark so you would have a nicer gradient around the object. And also don't go completely red, green, or blue. If you would go right here in sliders, if you would remove red and blue completely and go completely green, no matter how bright, if red and blue are completely zero, they will always stay zero. So you will only get the green color and not any other one. So yeah, that fire, let's go closer to red, but not completely. And dark maybe? Or maybe we can go brighter like this, actual like red fire going on in here. Make some smaller details as well. Now another layer, and you can see the color is already much closer to yellow, even though I'm still painting with the same almost completely red color. So it's making this cool distortion for you, but you have to make sure you're not painting with completely red color. And a smaller brush and even another layer. And that's already really bright yellow, so it looks really hot. Oh yeah, this is such a rich gradient, looking really cool. Fire is the best. So yeah, pretty much with these same colors, we could do the lava, but we need a much darker background as we do with the fire. That's why it looks much better. Like literally, if I would just move this layer over here, you see it's not that great because the background is overexposing it. And same for the lava, in here it looks better. Although a bit too green. It's better to start a really hot, fiery object with a color much closer to red. It looks much cooler. Now in the screen mode layer, let's add glow to this fire. And screen mode works really well when you go from really dark color. And then instead of adding another layer in add mode in this situation, when we're just adding some glow, we can just increase the brightness right here. And when we're closer to the fire, we'll add a brighter spot with a smaller radius, and just keep going like that if we need to. And why not add some smoke as well? Alright, something like that. So there we go, this picture now makes a lot more sense than it used to. At least it has a message. And this is it. I hope this was helpful. Make sure to check out the 32-bit modes painting in Photoshop if you're into that kind of stuff. But I have to warn you, it's very nerdy. And also I still have hair in that video. So yeah, ask me questions if something wasn't clear enough. And also tell me what other smaller tutorials you want me to make a video about. What did I just say? What other small tutorials you want me to make? And I thank you for watching if you did. I guess you did if you're here. Leave a like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Stay on your side. Do whatever you want. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Cool thing that if you go really close to that blue but from the purple side, you can make a black guy lightsaber.